Hi everybody, this is me, your favorite PookieWooze. I have been very busy here in my paint room, and I've been following a guy named J. Mo Painting. He's absolutely wonderful, and he's inspired me to try a few things like this, which gets some amazing cells and lacing. This in here is called lacing. I wish there was something over here, but there's not. And here's another one, a larger one that I did. Now, for people who don't like looking at holes, this is a very scary painting to look at. So if you enjoy horror, go for it. But otherwise, it is just a really cute painting. So I'm going to continue with experimenting on my paintings, and I'm going to use what's called a boba straw, or it's basically known as a straw that is for bubble tea. And the bubbles in bubble tea are called bobas, which is why it's called a boba straw. So I'm going to use a cluster of boba straws, and I'm going to pour into the cluster to see what effects I can get. And I am going to pour onto a fairly small canvas. Again, it's one of my practice canvas boards, and I'm going to pour onto that. And then I am going to spin it on a cake spinner so that the cells will all move out rather than just shifting from side to side. So that's going to be my process for today. I will probably do this a little bit hyperlapsed at some point so that you aren't having to watch the entire slow process. But for right now, we'll just snip the straws. Or attempt to snip the straws. Okay, there we go. There. All right. And there goes half the straws. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them on here. I'm going to pour into each of these little tubes. Maybe I'll shrink it down a little bit more yet. Yeah, I think I might make them a little shorter yet so that it's easier to pour and not get as much on the outside. There we go. This is my new shorter version of the boba straw cluster. And I'm going to mix together in a cup. I only need about 2 or so ounces. So I'm just going to use this little itty bitty dollar store red Solo cup. And I'm going to put my colors in there. I've really been enjoying this color. It's a spin drip pour that's from Michael's. It's very inexpensive. It's pre-mixed, so I don't have to worry about it. And then I don't have to have so much anxiety over what it's going to do or not. So I've also invested in some not glow in the dark, but neon activated colors. So I'm going to do some of those too. I've been having so much fun with those. Whoops. This one needs to get mixed. I don't think that's going to bother anything really. Okay, so let's try that again. There we go. Okay, and I will just use those 3 colors. So 1, 2, and as you can see, I'm not being super careful filling the cup, and 3. Okay. 1, 2, and 3. Something I'm not putting in this cup that I did put in these other paintings is what's called a cell activator. And that actually chemically changes the properties so that it causes cells to appear on the canvas instead of just dripping in where it might fall. This actually creates cells. Okay, so here I've repositioned a little bit. Here's my straws. Pull up my paint pants. And here's my little experiment. So let's go together on this little journey and see what it does. I'm just going to pour exactly as if I was just pouring straight onto the canvas, but instead I'm pouring into these holes. Oh, I hope it doesn't get too muddy with the orange and the blue together. We'll see. Oh, you can kind of see it coming out the bottom already. Oh, that's looking cool. Okay, just gonna let this sit. Oh, look inside the cup. That is so beautiful. I love that. So I'm just gonna let this sit upside down for a moment and drop into the paint. Never mind. Okay, so I'm just gonna let that ooze out for a bit. And then when I pick it up, we will have a bit of a reveal. Then I'll spin it out. On the back of this canvas, I've put a little bit of tape so it's not gonna fly off the wheel as soon as I spin it. And so yeah, this is my new testing technique that I'm gonna do. So here we go. Let's do that. Oh, look, can you see inside the straws? I don't know if you can, but here we go, lifting up the straws. Oh, neat. I like the little central dot things. Unfortunately, I'm not a huge fan of these bubbles. So I'm going to just gently poke the bubbles. I'm not going to fire them like I frequently would with other painting techniques. But I am just going to, oh sure, now they drip. Okay, so now we're just going to let that settle for a minute, let the bubbles come to the top that are going to come to the top. Oh, this is going to be really pretty. This is going to be like a sunset with the pinks and the oranges and the blue. I think that's what it's going to end up looking like. So here we go. Spin. Oh, look at that. How it just spreads. It doesn't shift. Oh, I'm going to shift it this way a little bit. Not a ton, but you can see that it's not riding on that, on this side of the painting. So I'm just going to shift the paint back this way a bit. Okay, I'm going to put that up here. Oh, wow, that is so cool. And as you can see, the paint is flying everywhere. Something that this other person does that I did not do, and I apparently should do, is lay down a pillow coat where it has extra paint along the outside so that this paint will just flow. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to simply add some of the orange, because that seems to be the major dominant color here. I'm going to add some of that to the corners and then spin again. And hopefully this new paint will help to flow off some of the old paint. Okay, ready? Woo! Boy, did that ever work. Oh my word. Okay, there's a reason I don't wear good clothing to do this. Okay, now I did what I always tell people not to do. Add after you've started to pour. These amazingly ghostly colors in here are gorgeous. Love, love, love them. The outside corners, not so much. So I am going to tip, and I've taped my thing down to the box. So I am going to tip and tip off some of this color. Come on. It's going to affect the outcome, and I wish I hadn't done that. So my next pour, this one's going to be seen as a quote-unquote failure. At least in my books. No, I won't call it a failure. Any test where you learn is I would say that's a plus. So there goes the paint off of this side. Okay, I should not get paint on my chair or I will have paint all over my tuchus. Okay, so there's that. Paint over on this side. I'm gonna, and of course there goes the tape. Okay, but at least then I can pick up the wheel. So I'm gonna get the paint off on this side. And again, it's gonna flow more to the center again. You see how it's just coming down there in those beautiful wisps. Oh, and it's also not covered right here. Okay, so yeah, this corner is starting to go, which is nice. That's what I'm after. Oh, and hey, we're even getting a little bit of cell work in there. I don't know if you can see them really down here, but you can see some of them starting up there. There we go. Yeah, off you go, you unwanted color. There we go. And now we're going to go back to the center a little bit and off to, there we go, we're sliding there. Once we get back, I don't like all of this draw around the sides. So once we get back to where I'm comfortable with what the corners look like, I'm going to spin it again and I'm going to see what happens with the resulting painting, because I think I can still pull this one out of the hat. And oh, there we go, there we go, there we go. Come on, come on. Yep, 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 you can do it, you can do it. Yes, I have to encourage my paintings. What can I say? I'm an encouraging person. Okay, there we go. And you know, this tiny little corner, I'm not going to worry about. I'm just going to slip this all back to the middle again. I guess technically I am going to worry about that corner because that's the part that's the direction that going back to the center. Okay, yep, this is centered well enough. I'm going to take off this extra so that I'm not wearing it again and I'm not risking the other paintings that are currently in my studio. All right, oh, yeah, this is a muddy mess over here. I'm not a fan of that, but I do like what's going on the canvas. Okay, are we ready for another spin? Okay, and one more. There we go. Now it's just stretching it out a bit. It's getting rid of some of that drag from the outside. There we go. Now I've got some good going. All right, and I think that's going to be the last time I spin it.